Hello guys and welcome back to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. Once again, I'm Greg and this is the starting 11 show. I'll give you a bit of injury news as well as my predicted lineup, how I think Ancelotti might line up. Of course, our next game is against ex-Super League club Arsenal. Maybe a few injuries. It looks like Lacazette and Aubameyang could be out, so a weakened side, hopefully a bit of a leg up. We can stop looking down to the teams catching us and start looking back up to the European slots as the season winds towards an end. A few big names back for us, which will be a huge boost. Calvert-Lewin and Yerry Mina, very important for us. We've got Andre Gomez and Bernard as well, who give us some good squad depth. Delph is also back. In terms of who's out, though, we've of course got Gabamin and Decore. If he was back, we'd sort of have the full complement, the whole squad back together. The team that started against Spurs first day of the season and played so well. So obviously that's a huge shame. Loses us a lot of mobility in the midfield. But with that being said, let's look into the team at what we do have. I think Pickford will start in goal, just going on current trends. Right back, I would definitely be starting Seamus Coleman here. I think he has stepped up a little bit. He knows what's at stake for the rest of this season, and he is playing to a level that would get us there. I don't think he's maybe motivating the people around him as much as he could be as a captain, but he's definitely stepping up the captain's performances. He's creating more than a lot of players when he comes on and does play. I think he could be a huge presence in the team for the final push. So for me, I definitely have him out there. Let him just grind away and keep creating chances like he was against Spurs. Back two, I do think Keane has had a great start to the season. I do really like him as a player, but I do think he's got mistakes, moments of madness in him, which can't be done at this point, this critical moment of the season. I don't know if he's one of these players where the pressure of that will get to him, but for me, I'm going to go with the two centre-backs who I think are least error-prone, most secure, and that is Ben Godfrey and Yerry Mina. Yerry Mina, of course, back from injury. If he's totally fit, then throw him in. I think he's been horrendously underrated in his time in Everton, especially recently. His performances have gone skyrocketed for me. He's not as error-prone as the others. Maybe he's being overlooked in terms of last season it was Holgate and Keane. Maybe this season it's been Godfrey's the main man and Keane's had that sort of renaissance. But I think for me it's those two, Godfrey and Mina. I think that could be a very good centre back partnership. On the left, of course, who else is it but Luca Dean? Midfield for me, same two against Spurs. It's Tom Davies and Alan. It's not too sexy. It's not too exciting. It was very good to see Alan back. I think we'd missed him, and we saw how much we missed him in the way he played and what he did. I think Tom Davies also had a very quietly confident game as well. A lot of people don't want to hear it, but I think he did his job perfectly well. I think he has done for a while. He's been a perfectly good squad player, and God forbid what position we'd be in if we didn't have him when other injuries happened around him. He's always been there to call upon, and he's always done a passable's harsh. He's done more than a passable job. He's done a good job. So for me, it's those two. And this is where things get a bit tough, because for me, we are desperately in need for someone who can play off the right. Iwobi's not doing it for me. He had a bit of a rebirth beginning of the season. He was playing right wing back, then he moved up. He was being adaptable. He was playing well, and he filled a gap. And I started to think maybe we're getting the Iwobi we wanted. He's just been ineffectual since sort of the turn of halfway through the season. So for me, I wouldn't have him out there. I don't think Richarlison's the best when he's forced out there. Bernard definitely not the best on that side. Haven't seen King enough to make any kind of decision as to whether he could play on that side, but for me, you've got to put James out there like we started the season, and obviously just shift and change as we move forward, sort of mutate. But that, of course, means we can't have James on the inside at number 10. So who's it going to be? It's got to be last game's man of the match, one of the most hot and cold players in Everton history. It's probably Gylfi Sigurdsson for me. It's a lot of potential creative talent in one team, but do I love it? No, I'd much rather have James in the centre and then someone who could really play outright out there, and that obviously goes without saying. Up front, Calvert-Lewin, if he's back, he's in. Richarlison on the left, I think he's either knackered, he's mentally just needs a bit of a pick-me-up, I don't know, he's been a little rough. I mean, obviously he's not a striker and he's been forced there, or at least for me, he's not a striker, he's much better on the left, so you've got to keep playing him because he's quality, and we'll need his contributions for the end of the season and this final push. But that's my team. It could go a few other ways. So let me know your team in the comments. I'm genuinely really interested to know on this one. For me, it's Pickford in goal, Coleman, Godfrey, Mina, and Luca Dean as my back line. Midfield is Tom Davies and Alan. In front of them is Gylfi Sigurdsson. This is where I'm not so happy with it. Hammers on the right, Calvert-Lewin up top, and Richarlison coming off the left. Do you think that's enough to beat this Arsenal side? I severely hope it is after the week that's been. Just a nice little bit of point scoring, if nothing else. And as I said, it makes us look up as opposed to looking down as the season drags to an end. Let me know what you think, guys. Let's hope for a win, and I will see you next time.